Back in 2021, Apple paid $200 million for Argylle, an original star-studded spy film that was supposed to launch a whole new franchise. But on release, it absolutely bombed. Argylle made only $18 million domestic on its opening weekend. On paper, this seemed like a sure thing. It was a talented director, a stacked cast, and there were no other big movies for it to compete against. But it's on track to lose a lot of money. I'm going to try and break down why I think that is and why it's a bit of a shame. So Argylle is about spy fiction writer Ellie Conway, who after the release of her newest Agent Argylle book, gets caught up in a real spy adventure of her own. While 20 years ago Hollywood would have made loads of movies like this, there's fewer and fewer of them now. And a big hurdle for them is the marketing. With Marvel movies or Pixar films or any other big branded franchise, there's brand recognition with them. Audiences know what to expect from those movies. And in a sense, they market themselves. Famously, this Harry Potter poster didn't include the title of the movie because everyone knows what this is. Original movies like Argylle don't have that audience familiarity to rely on, so they have to create their own hook with the marketing. And it's tricky for original movies because studios would rather spend the money on a surefire hit. These films need more help. And when it came to Argylle, to their credit, Apple and Universal spent $80 million marketing it. The weird part is what that marketing focused on. So in all the marketing to set up this new spy film, a lot of time was spent on the cat. The main poster featured the cat, the trailer thumbnail is also of the cat, you can get a Snapchat filter of the cat. They went to the premiere with the cat, and they used all sorts of cat-related puns in the marketing as well. The initial tagline was, "Once you know the secret, don't let the cat out of the bag." The Twitter account was posting things like, "You know what they say about curiosity and cats? Shaken and purred, claw your way to the truth. One life down, 8 to go. POV, you realize he's not a cat person." Again, this is a spy film. But right there on the poster that says Argylle, there's the cat. The entire pattern that's used for the poster and all the promotional material is the same as the cat pack. So just visually, everything about the promotional material connects to the cat. There's even a short cut together with every character saying Argylle, and then Sam Jackson says,
"It's a perfect name for a very cool cat.
Agent Argylle."
So they've created this really strong association with Argylle and the cat, and I'm really confused by it. And this clearly isn't an accident. They wanted this and they leaned into it. But the cat isn't even a big part of the movie. So either they thought the cat was going to be a selling point, which is confusing to me because I associate CGI cats with bad movies, but anyway, or they were trying to do a misdirect. Okay, so I'm not going to spoil who Agent Argylle is, and if you haven't seen the film, I don't consider this next point to be a spoiler. I'm going to reveal who Agent Argylle isn't. But if you really don't want to know any more details, skip to this point. Okay, so Argylle isn't the cat. It's just a cat. But the big question the trailer wants to leave you with is, who is the real Agent Argylle? And look, this isn't something the marketing campaign pushed too aggressively. The movie itself isn't that concerned with who the real Agent Argylle is for the first hour. This is just a hook. It's not the hook, but it's a hook. It was supposed to make Argylle more mysterious, and it places a question mark over every other character's head. It works for the spy genre. The problem is everyone thinks Argylle's the cat. That's either because the cat is on the poster that says Argylle, or they get that Henry Cavill is Argylle, and they think the twist of who the real Agent Argylle is going to be the cat. Now, thankfully, and obviously the movie doesn't do that, but that's the impression it's created for a lot of people. There are so many comments going, "I thought Argylle was the cat," or "Argylle's going to be the cat, isn't it?" And in the end, it doesn't really matter that that's not what happened in the movie. That's what audiences got from the trailer, and they didn't want to rush out and buy tickets. For me, I think all of that ended up diluting what I think was the biggest selling point of the movie. If you wanted to sell your friend on this movie, you need 4 words. Henry Cavill spy movie, and everyone goes, "That sounds great." I mean, for Casino Royale, it was literally between Daniel Craig and Henry Cavill as to who would play the next Bond. I mean, Henry Cavill is perfect casting for a spy. And to be fair to the marketing, aside from all the cat stuff, the one thing they really did push was that opening scene of Henry Cavill and Dua Lipa. It did feel like for a period you couldn't open your phone without that scene being pushed at you. Except it turns out there was a reason that was the only clip they were using. If you've seen the film, you know Henry Cavill is barely in it, to the point where it feels like almost every clip he's in is used in the trailer. And to be clear, all the other actors do a great job in the movie. Bryce Dallas Howard was my favourite part of the film, but when this project was first announced, it was as Henry Cavill spy movie. And what I think ended up happening is, for even audiences that did go see it opening weekend, the big reaction they had coming out of it was, why is Henry Cavill in it so little? And I think there's one potential reason as to why. A lot of directors talk about the need for more original movies, and Matthew Vaughn has talked a lot about how Star Wars was once an original script, Alien was once an original script, and the future of cinema depends on original movies. But Matthew Vaughn isn't just trying to create original movies, he's trying to create original franchises. Argylle wasn't supposed to just be Argylle. Yes, you can watch it and enjoy it as a standalone movie, but it was supposed to set up a whole new spy franchise. And when you look at how Matthew Vaughn makes films, you can understand why. He started his own production company, Marv, which means he self-finances all of his films himself, and then he does deals with major studios. So for things like the Kingsman franchise, he owns those movies, and it gives him way more creative control. And this is really impressive. There's a reason so few filmmakers work this way, because it's hard and it's expensive. And it's especially hard when you're trying to make original movies. Every film is essentially a roll of the dice on whether it'll make its money back. But if you create a movie that becomes a franchise, like they did with Kingsman, then that reduces the risk for making the next movie. And then you can try and make other original films. And so that's what Argylle would be, the first of a new franchise that they could tie in and spin off from. So the entire conception of Argylle wasn't just as a single movie. In the movie, they established that this film is based off book 4 in the Agent Argylle book series. And so that means they could both do a sequel to this film and also go back and do the stories in those previous books. And it's possible that part of the intention here was that they would set up Agent Argylle with Henry Cavill in this movie, and then there's the possibility of expanding it more in sequels or prequel films. And the movie certainly implies there's loose ends to tie up both with and without Henry Cavill. And that's a great, big, ambitious plan, but maybe if there wasn't the same concern about how this would tie into a larger franchise, it would change how they told this story. Because now that I've seen it, it feels like they're putting the cart before the horse a little bit. They tease more from this franchise, but I don't know how solidly they set it up here. Which leads to the final big reason this movie bombed. I really don't want to come on here and just shit on the movie. There was a lot about the film that I appreciated, but the movie wasn't great. Even if this film had the best marketing campaign, it's much tougher to sell a movie people didn't like. And even though I didn't love the movie, I do really appreciate that this was taking a big swing at the bat. It's a brutal time for movies. Even big franchise films like Indiana Jones or The Flash are bombing at the box office. And we really need more movies like Argylle that are trying something different and setting up something new. And every time a film like this performs badly at the box office, it makes it harder and harder for filmmakers to get original movies off the ground. And we all know positive reviews don't necessarily equate to box office success, but at least some positive word of mouth would have really helped. So it seems unlikely that we'll see any more Argylle films, but I'm really glad that there are filmmakers like Matthew Vaughn who are taking risks like this at this budget level. And now that this film has bombed, I only think it's going to get more interesting to see what he does next.